Welcome to On Texas Football. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by Rod Babers and Gerry Hamilton. Time to talk confidence level on the Texas Longhorn football team and with the coaching staff. I mean, here we are at 2-1, guys, yet the confidence, at least among Longhorn Nation, is shaken at best over the trials and tribulations early of this Texas offense. Gerry Hamilton, I want to go to you first. Your concern level, if you had to mention it 1 to 10, your concern level over this Texas offense.
10 being the highest over the offense.
Yep.
9.
And give us the reasons why.
Yeah, and I was hesitating to make sure I said that and believe that. But yeah, look, I respect UTEP's up and coming young good coach, but they're not a good football team. Utah State scored 28 on them, and Utah State they got blown out at A&M, right? It's just like what I'm seeing is whether it's due to injury, and we don't know what that team will look like healthy. That's part of it offensively because we haven't seen it.
That's true.
Whether it's a drop pass, whether it's the bad throws, the easy throws. It's the easy throws. It's not the bad throws. It's the easy throws that are being missed. It's a running back being hesitant, an offensive lineman being hesitant in what they're seeing, the penalties. There's not enough things to go on for me to be real positive offensively right now. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to be totally wrong in 3 weeks. But based on what I've seen this year, man, it's hard to have a level of confidence on the offense, but we'll see. I hope I'm wrong.
All right, 3 games into the season, Rod, what's your confidence level or concern level, I guess is better put, your concern level over the Texas offense?
I mean, Jerry's pretty close, honestly. It's about an 8 right now because they have there's some problematic areas, right? And critical areas. We talked about this. Third down, they're really bad. I mean, actually, them and Sam Houston State are actually 2 of the worst third down offenses in the country. They're 136th. I think Texas is 126th. Red zone offense, they're 134th, and a touchdown percentage 133rd. Texas 130th and 128th. That's concerning because those are issues that were issues last season too, and now they're more problematic. And when your quarterback is playing well, you can mask a lot of those issues. You really can. You can just get by, masking. Texas did that last year because Quinn was operating at a really high level, even though he had his critics. Texas that offense still was producing a lot of and generating a lot of explosive plays. Now your quarterback's inconsistent at best, and he's struggling with confidence. And now those issues, those problematic areas to me are exacerbated. Now they're even bigger. And there are very few things that you consistently do well. That's why you have no identity, because identity is based on what you do well, what you hang your hat on. All right, we do this, we can always go back to this. This is our money. This is our bread and butter. They don't really have bread and butter right now. Maybe it's because of the injuries, but I think also the biggest issue is the crisis of confidence that is currently going on with the quarterback. And I think ultimately that is trickling down to other areas of the offense and to other players on the offense. We talked about guys like, VY playing with so much swagger. He can sprinkle some on other guys and then they can get confidence, right? You can watch the defense and how they play. They're a very confident bunch. So right now, offensively, it's an 8. If your quarterback starts to get better every week and we don't see regression, then that could easily, that concern could easily dial down to a 5 or a 4, just worried about those critical areas. But right now, in addition to the critical areas, you're worried about your quarterback, offensive line inconsistency, and the injuries. That's just there's too much for me to name right now to even key in on one area to focus on to get better.
And get to the point, how could you not be an 8 or 9 right now? If you're 25% on third down, who are you beating?
Yeah. Yes. I'll just be blunt. I thought y'all were a little low.
Whoa.
11, Bobby?
My concern is 9.5 for a 10.
Okay.
Yep.
And the reason, and I've said this, is I never expected the lows of this Texas offense to be this low, this early. Like I thought that there was going to be a depth to where a peak and valley. We talked about this, Rod. Mm-hmm. I expected the valley to not be as low as it was against UTEP. And that's a problem. Now, at the same time, I do think that there's a large gap from here to where they can go, which is their ceiling. And Rod, that goes back to what you're talking about. Is this a temporary issue for the quarterback and perhaps the injuries that compound that, whether it's Trey Weiser and Cedric Baxter both being out, or not having access to Emmett Mosley, who's another receiver, et cetera? I wonder if that doesn't all play a role. I do think that the level that this offense can get to is different, but my concern level is as high as it can get, because until the quarterback turns it around, you're not beating anybody in the conference play if your quarterback goes 11 of 25.
Yeah.
And that even is we're going to talk next about the defense, the confidence level or the concern level there is much different. We'll actually call that the confidence level that we have in the defense as opposed to the concern level 1 to 10. And I think that speaks volumes in and of itself. But my take here is they have to, this is a existential crisis of sorts for Texas right now on offense, because I don't know if they win 8 games or 7 games with this level of quarterback play and offensive play in general. And that in of itself is one. Now, that doesn't mean, and this is one of the things I wanted to get to, that Texas internally shares our issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wrote this morning on ontexasfootball.com that internally there's no fire drill right now going on at the offensive line, wide receiver room, running back room, et cetera. They see this as a problem they have to solve piece by piece.
Yeah.
And so while our confidence level, our concern level is very high, inside the building, I don't think it's not, based on what I'm being told, because they think everything they see is fixable with a young quarterback, with a healthier team, et cetera. So I want to get that out there and talk about that. I want to talk about defense and special teams next, because this is state of the program. Before I do that, I want to say thank you to our sponsor. Our sponsor each and every state of the program is Adam Lowy over at the Lowy Law Firm. If you've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind, and think you might be due compensation, reach out to Adam and his group, loweylawfirm.com. They've been helping injured Texans for 20 plus years. Again, they'll give you a free, no strings attached consultation to see if you might be due compensation. Again, loweylawfirm.com. Also want to say thanks to Adam. He gave away two pairs of tickets to this weekend's game in the Coffee and Football Show this morning. Congrats to Jordan Turner and Bryce Phillips, the winner of those 2 pairs of tickets. And thank you to Adam Lowy for doing that for fans as well. All right. The Texas defense, instead of the concern meter, we'll call it the confidence meter. Okay. Rod, your confidence meter in this Texas defense.
Right now I'm probably about an 8.5 with the confidence. It's kind of close to my concern for the Texas offense, because I still think there are parts of this Texas defense that have yet to awaken, if you will, right? Colin Simmons hadn't gotten going yet, right? He hadn't gotten going yet. The edges really, in my opinion, hadn't been as impactful yet as we assumed they would be. And I think they will be later on. I do think teams have basically have targeted certain players in the secondary, and they are and I think it's only because there are very few weaknesses on the Texas defense, and there are some places when you're starting a true freshman anywhere on defense or offense, teams are going to go after the true freshman. That's just the way it is. So Grayson Littleton, they've gone after him a little bit, and he has more than answered the bell in 2 of those 3 games. And I just think that San Jose State game is kind of what you're going to get from a true freshman every now and then. But he'll develop more consistency. Just got his first interception in that UTEP game. So I think 8.5, just I think you may be able to target certain players in the secondary to have some success. The edges haven't like I said, haven't woke up yet to really start making those impact plays, those havoc plays. I think that's going to happen. But right now, your central nervous system, the spine of your defense, your D tackles, your linebacker, your off-ball linebacking core, your safeties, man, right now they're playing at a really, really high level. And that You go look at all the great defenses in Texas football history. Go look at the spine of it, the central nervous system, always full of high caliber players. That's what they're dealing with right now.
You feel good about you talked a lot about their pass defense. What about their run defense? You feel good about the Longhorn run defense right now?
Yeah, because those D tackles playing a lot better than I thought, and they're deeper there than I thought. Like, who thought Hero Canoe was going to end up playing as well as he's playing? Like, who thought of all those guys they brought in that Hero Canoe might have a chance to be the best of all those portal acquisitions at D tackle? In addition to Murad Watson giving you a lot of penetration and a lot of creating pressure also on passing downs. And then you got Cole Brevard, Travis Shaw thrown out there, and Alex January has been hurt. I mean, they are deep at D tackle. You're talking about 5, potentially 6 deep at D tackle because of Hero Canoe now stepping up. I did not think that would be the case. So they keep those linebackers clean. Between the way Leonga Lafau's playing, he's almost competing with Anthony Hill. I talked to Derek Johnson about this. He's like, no. He said that was a year where Reed Boyd ended up getting as many tackles as Derek Johnson or more. And I was like, how did that happen? He's like, he was competing with me. He said, that's what happens though. He said, you're supposed to be able to uplift the play of others around you. When you're playing with another great player, you want to take your play to the next level. I think that's what you're seeing with Leonga Lafau right now with Anthony Hill. I'm not gonna give Anthony Hill that kind of credit, but I think he as a competitor is saying, well, everybody's talking about Anthony Hill. Where did they get a load of me? And he's right now playing at a really, really high level too.
Gerry, what's your confidence meter on the Texas team?
I may be slightly lower than people would think, but it's because I think there's an element of unknown out there. Like what exactly, how much is left in the tank as far as the scheme wise, and I do think they're going to bring a lot of it out. I'm at a 7.75. I agree with
7.75. Okay.
I agree with Rod. There's a couple of people that are attempted to be picked on in the secondary there, and I do think that is when you play against really good players or almost talent neutralized situations, that gives you a little pause. Not that there's perfect football teams out there. The other thing is, for me, is look, I was big on just the natural pass rush ability of this Texas team. We are 3 games in, and y'all know who leads this team in sacks? Murad Watson with 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Murad Watson with 1.5.
Watson, yes.
So no matter if you're playing straight up, if you're playing vanilla, the pass rush pieces, Rod said the explosive plays haven't happened. And that gives me a little pause because that was absolutely supposed to be the strength of this team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know the ball was out of the hand, in 1.85 seconds last week or something, 1.9. So it's hard.
UTEP really did a good job of that.
But the problem is you don't see enough just flat out because everybody, the Texas fan base, is talking about the offensive line not moving people against weaker opponents. You're not seeing just like explosivity. Sorry, Bobby, it's a word. Explosivity from the edge room, just out and out winning like you thought you would. And now Colin Simmons had false starts. He's off to a little bit of a slow start. I don't think they brought Anthony Hill's blitz packages at all. No. I mean, we're 3 games in, and Anthony Hill and Simmons have 0.5 sacks combined. 0.5 combined in 3 games. Now, Anthony Hill hasn't been a part of that blitz packages, but there's still – and I'm not putting it on Anthony Hill because he's not being asked to rush the passer, but there's still an element of this team isn't creating those leverage pass rushes just like I thought they would right now. So I'm more in a wait-and-see mode, but I think the defense – can get to a 9.75 or 10. In the offense, I don't think can come close to that number. The defense is drastically better than the Texas offense.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm a little between y'all both. I'm about an 8.0 at this point. I think, and the reason I would say that, I do agree with Gerry. I think Texas has been extraordinarily vanilla on defense, particularly the last 2 games. They haven't had to do anything else. And I would disagree with you, Gerry, on one thing. I think they have been disruptive, particularly against San Jose State, where they had 4 turnovers. I mean, they've caused 6 turnovers through 3 games. Granted, one of them did not come against Ohio State when they needed that more than any of the others. But I do think they have disruptors. I just don't think they've been fully unleashed.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
and that element of unknown.
Yeah, exactly. It's that level of, okay, I know they're there because Anthony Hill, I mean, he caused 2 fumbles against San Jose State. It's not, even though he's not rushing the passer, it's not like he's not doing his job. And Colin Sims, I think, will get more reps as they get into more game situation or more SEC style caliber opponents. He's just not playing as much right now because look, he got dinged up in the 4th quarter, so they took him out immediately. And even though he came back and played the next game, they didn't play him a bunch of snaps against UTEP. And so, yeah, I think that's part of what they're doing. They're trying to keep some of these guys in football shape and get them ready. But I like where the defense sits. I agree with Rod that there's an issue perhaps at corner right now with Jalen Gilbo, allowing 10 yards plus per catch or per not even yet. Yeah, per target. That's a big difference between per catch and per target.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that there are elements of this that can be, it may be Gilbo, maybe the guy that needs that pass rush to get home more than the other guys.
100%
too. I mean, let's wait and see. But I'm very, very confident in the defense, and I would add this: I think the Texas group internal at DKR thinks they're elite, and they haven't even done anything with their defense. Right. I would echo the comment of them being extraordinarily vanilla.
I agree with that.
I agree.
All right, let's move over to special teams, if y'all don't mind. It's very interesting. Ask me after week 1, and I would have said, "Oh boy, I think that the punt game has a chance to be an A+. The return game has a chance to be an F, and the field goal kicking, we don't know because they didn't get a chance, right?" Fast forward to week 3 after Bomeister has a off and on again week against San Jose State, not very good. UTEP, he was really good. Mason Shipley nails 2 kicks, and the punt return comes alive. Y'all's thoughts now on Texas, because in your confidence meter in it, and I'm going to start, and I'll go an 8. I went after San Jose State. I was like, man, that's a 6 if I've ever seen it. But now that Shipley's hit a couple field goals and gotten off to a good start, Niblett looks very comfortable returning punts. Not just he's having success returning them, but he looks comfortable.
Yeah.
And then you add in Bomeister, and I think that is more of a return to form for him against UTEP. What y'all's thoughts of your confidence meter on special teams?
I would say from a kicking and punting standpoint by itself, I'm a 9. I think that, and 9's a really high score. I think in all this, I think Texas has really solid guys. I think Bomeister will be in an NFL camp, and doesn't mean he's going to have punt perfectly every single time. I think Mason Shipley is past the test. You want to see him on the road with a kick that matters to push that number to a 10 for Texas punting and kicking.
That's fair.
Return game and coverage game and everything else, I have a 5. Ryan Niblett had a good game, but UTEP outkicked the coverage. If a G5 team outkicks the coverage against Texas athletes and they don't have a big return, then something's really wrong. They still have issues blocking in the back in the return game. I still think the kickoff game is going to lack explosive playmaking. So I think that's a 5. Your only punt block you really went after, you got a roughing call. So I give that a 5. So combined to 7. But the kicking and punting in itself, I think, is drastically improved and is a 9 out of 10 right now.
Rod, what about you?
Overall kicking game for me right now, I'm gonna go with. Oh man, I'd like more punt. I like more punt blocks too. I think it would help the offense if you could create some more game-changing, momentum-swinging plays, and I think they know that too. I'm gonna go with it. I'm stuck in the 8s here. I'll go with a 7.5. I still think they got some room to grow. I'd like some more big plays out of special teams period. But I do like what I saw from Ryan Niblett. Guys, they got a lot of those young bucks out there on these special teams units. Yeah. And I saw Cade Phillips out there holding up the gunner, as well as Grayson Littleton out there holding up the gunner. A lot of DBs on that punt return unit. And I think they're going to get better. I saw some savvy plays out there in that punt return. Guys finally blocking a guy, shooting a guy, and putting their hands up like, hey, I'm innocent. Don't call me for a block in the back. You know what I mean? They're starting to get a little savvier about how to play special teams. The fanatical effort is there. I'm noticing a lot of guys giving great effort on special teams too. So I think they're going to get a whole lot better just because they have so many great athletes And over time, I feel like Texas will be able to use those athletes on all of those different coverage units and the return units. And I think Niblett looked good, man. I mean, those 2 returns, he's starting to gain some confidence. And when you get, that's all you need back there is more and more confidence so you can start making some of those plays. I think and you're right about them out kicking the coverage, but still, Ryan Niblett maximized those opportunities, and so did the return unit. So I'll go 7.5. Boomeister, I think, is just a weapon, period. I think he's great. And him working with that defense been able to, take advantage of having teams pinned back deep in their own territory is also something Texas defense didn't have the luxury of last year. So I'm a Boomeister fan. I go 7.5 with that group.
Guys, anything that you're looking for in this week's game as we close out here that can change your perspective? I mean, is Sam Houston State? Well, I want to say this: is Sam Houston State an opponent such that no matter what happens this weekend, it's fool's gold, or people are going to overreact? And you think there is something, Gerry?
There's one thing. Rod was the first one to say it. Sam Houston State is bad on defense. They're not a good team. They're 0-3 against the schedule they've played, and it's bad on defense. There is one thing. Arch Manning hits the easy passes.
And that gives you a little bit more confidence on him.
He has to it's like a guy that can't make a putt. You have to see the ball go in. It's a guy that's 0 for 18 from the last 18 3-point attempts. You need to see one go in.
Yep.
If he can I don't care if he's under duress or not, just complete the easy throws. He's missing the easy throws. Okay. And you'll never have a good offense if you're missing the easy throws. If you just see him make the easy throws and it looks good when he's making the easy throws, then that may be the start of a turning of the corner for the quarterback.
What about you, Rod?
I think Gerry hit the nail on the head. It's all about Arch and Sark being able to scheme open those easy throws for him and him gaining confidence. You want to see him playing with confidence, him playing with joy. And you like to see that become contagious on that offense right now. Doesn't seem like a lot of guys are playing with confidence. Guys are not having fun offensively. They almost seem like they're dreading it. They're waiting to make a mistake or waiting for something bad to happen. I need this team to be celebrating good things happening, expecting success. So that's what we need to see. I know it's not as much X's and O's in the scheme. It's all about how Arch looks. That's the only thing you can really take out of this game that matters. How does Arch look? Everything else, you got to consider the opponent.
And Bobby, we got to say the opposite. Sam Houston's not a good football team. If it's the same misses on easy throws, there's serious reason for concern.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a bad team.
This is the slump buster. You can't do it against this team, then you got much more deeply rooted issues to address. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. That's going to do it for this week's state of the program. Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Gerry. I appreciate it very much. You guys have been terrific. I want to say also this real quick. Thanks again to Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm for their continued support of On Texas Football. Also want to mention this. Tomorrow afternoon, Rod, Gerry, and I are going to be over at Hole in the Wall on Guadalupe. If you know the university campus, it's over against the old communications building right across the street. Ourselves, as well as Mason Shipley, the Texas will be out there with us for folks for Hargrove Roofing. Hargrove Roofing, know who's on your roof. We'll be out there around 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. For Gerry Hamilton, for Rod Babers, as well as our sponsor, Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm, this has been State of the Program. Hook 'em Horns.
Okay.